Hello, everybody. This is Rebecca Freedom, and this is episode 16 of Heard Not Seen.
Can I ask you a question? Every time you come on, it's like we're talking and you have this voice, and then all of a sudden you start the podcast, and it's like, I don't know who I'm talking to now.
That's John Bethune, my producer. Yeah, well, listen, I have a lot of different characters.
That you do.
So the podcast today is going to be about setting yourself free.
Number 16?
Number 16.
Good.
Yeah, here we go.
And officially it's Friday. What did we call officially?
Oh, Fritter Friday. We kicked off today. I was like, John, I really want an apple fritter, which is in honor of my father who passed. Rest in peace. And John's like, that's my favorite too. So off you went to the donut store, fritters, melt.
5:30 this morning.
That's a commitment. That is true. So it's also Freedom Fritters. Because fuck it. Apparently
yeah.
F is the word we're
So we're changing
today.
the website to Rebecca Fritter Freedom. No, we're not.
No, that's not the case. But there's so today we're going to tell we meaning me, my spirit guides, angels, ancestors, and whoever else wants to show up. We're going to be telling some stories about what kind of week this has been.
Yeah, no kidding.
Woo! Here we go. So I'm aware, and a lot of people are, and John, I know you are too, that this has been a crazy year in the world with Nice and the bombings there, and obviously
Yes, we have construction going on outside. If you hear the bump, bump, bump.
Yeah, that's not my headboard.
Holy mackerel!
So we got a little bit of extra noise today, so just bear with.
You're just going to have to keep talking.
Yeah. So anyway, we know that there's a lot going on in the world, and pundits and Fox News and all the outlets are just reporting it over and over again. And it's hard, and it's like collectively we feel this pressure. So I saw that show up individually this week when I had two different sort of speaking gigs this week, and John was kind enough to be at one of them, which I think we're turning into a podcast.
Yes.
Yeah. It's God bless, because he's going to be editing. It's like an editing nightmare. But
remember, protect the not so innocent.
yeah, protect the not so innocent. Exactly. So the first was at EVE Encinitas, which is this juice bar that used to be an Iyengar yoga studio.
I don't actually know.
We're just going to say that's what it was. And because they have the beautiful back room, wood floors, like floor to ceiling mirrors, and then like this mural on the other side. And
then it's got a vibe.
Yeah, and it's definitely, and all the food is really healthy, vegan, juice bar, just, it's got, and then there's a wall full of plants, and it's just a really lovely place. It's like, stepping into something that you would see in a travel guide, like in Bali or something like that. So that's EVE Encinitas, and lots of people host various events there.
They do 90 events a month.
Yeah, just killing it on the
That's like 3 a day.
Space. Yeah. So Jacqueline Price let me be one of her guests for what was something called Inner Temple.
She does on Tuesday nights at 7:30. Right?
Yeah, and that's it. That's a consistent space. And so originally my talk was going to be pure touch, and then I was like, I don't want to make strangers touch each other. I'm over that. I'm over it. So it turned into Manifestation 101, which then evolved into something completely different. So, I know for me, in preparation of the experience, I put on my anthropology dress and my red lipstick and my fake eyelashes, and I just nailed the look.
You actually looked marvelous.
First step in any fantastic psychic reading is look the part. Obviously.
Yeah. Fun Prog's got nothing on you.
Tyler Henry can suck it. No, I'm just kidding. Good job, Tyler. I'm glad for all the Hollywood people that are getting readings from you. and I'm on your tail, buddy. So anyway, I guess, I want to share my experience of it, but because you were there and you're more witness and sort of privy to what it looks like when spirit moves through me, I'm curious, like, what your reflections of that night sort of looked like. Because there was about 8 people there, and it was an intimate group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really great. I'd attend, just to set the frame to answer that question. I've been to 2 other events there. It turns out most Tuesday nights I'm a little tied up. So I would have to say it was an extremely calm and at the same time energetic and loving vibration that you brought forth. Mm-hmm. So Rebekah and I sort of we get a little ruckus around here at the podcast. So there's a really beautiful chair, really soft, and Rebekah's sitting there, and there's these white folded chairs, and there was about 8 of them around there, and people sort of picked their spot, and a woman came in late. Mm-hmm. And I experienced it as there was no judgment. Mm-hmm. And when you invited people to sit next to you and you just did your thing, it's just there was no judgment whatsoever. It was really, really very loving. And I can tell you right now that people got a lot out of it. I could tell. Mm. So it just felt good. So for me, my experience was it confirmed everything that my gut has told me about you in terms of what your gifts are. Mm-hmm. And it got to show me how you work with other people. Mm. So I'm just going to say, whoa. Yeah, and when I said Von Prague's got nothing on you, I mean, he sort of does. Uh-huh. He's probably got a bigger audience, but you could do that too. Mm-hmm. I mean, you did do that.
Yeah, it's a true gift to have this level of, I think, both education, higher education, and this clairvoyant skill that is just exacting. It's like samadhi. It's like the one-pointedness where you go in and you go right to the target. You don't go around the target. Mm-hmm. You don't pussyfoot. You just say, but it's gentle. I think there's
it's direct.
Yeah, it's direct and yet really gentle. And like you said, it's loving. And I know that part of my way of being in the world is I know I have a general gruffness, and that is because big heart, big defenses, and I can really own that I have this just longing to be able to change the things we were talking about in humanity, the warring and the lack of resources and the big scale issues that we all sort of face. And I do believe, as Gandhi said, that if you be the change that you want to see in the world, it starts at one conscious level at a time, like how, what food you put in your body and who you hang around and how you practice non-judgment, how you practice your own eightfold path. So
yeah, and it's it's not about trying not to be judgmental. Mm-hmm. It's almost like making friends with it. Yeah. So the encounter Tuesday night was very friendly. Yeah. Friendly with the parts that you brought out. And I'll just say, when it was my turn to sit next to you, and you just, I think you probably been working on this one a while, so you already knew a little bit, but it was just it brought out some truth in me. And the reason I knew it was truthful is because I could feel it and that it was. Mm-hmm. And it really had to do with how, taking care of other people. Do you remember actually what you said?
Normally, I'll remember what was channeled probably 24 hours after, and then it's
gone. Yeah. Right. So it had to do with family, and I had some grandparents who were alcoholics, so there was some tension in that family. My parents were not, but there was tension, and I was always wanted to make sure that everybody was okay. Mm-hmm. And that's what you brought out, and that awareness. And so it's if you're in that mode, I mean, if that's what you do, then that's what you do in your life. And that's been up for me big time this week. And so I am grateful, and I appreciate that time with you on Tuesday. Mm.
I'm aware that I had a colleague, she said, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. And I'm not entirely sure that's true, but what I want to impart in this moment in the podcast is this gift sets people free. And in the Hindu tradition, reincarnation is punishment of the wheel of samsara, of coming back and having to reincarnate and sort through your karma over and over again. And karma just simply means a debt to be paid, and dharma is to be able to pay it forward.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to be heavy, does it?
No, I mean...
And guilt-ridden.
No, it doesn't. So what I'm aware is, while that might be a cycle our souls go through in this lifetime, this clairvoyance, this clarity, this relief of non-judgment and non-duality sets people free. It gives them more possibility. It gives them room to really able to flourish and grow and be their own 1,000-petal lotus flower, you know?
Yeah. Can I share something about that Tuesday night?
Sure.
So I walked away with this gift, and I'm sure other people did, and I simply easily applied it for the rest of the week, which was, does it feel light or does it feel heavy? Because if it's heavy, it's not true. And so I actually worked on facilitating a group last night that was in some strife about something, and I simply brought that model forward, and everybody got it. And it moved everybody along. It was very, very sweet.
I'd like to thank Dr. Dane and Gary from Access Consciousness for the work they're doing in the world. It simply is based on the fundamental ask and you shall receive, but what questions are you really asking that are coaxing forth that new awareness that provides you new choices, right? And with new choices, you get to live a whole new experience. So light and heavy, does it feel light to you in your body? Is there a lightness in your choosing? If that means that's your truth. And if there's a heaviness, that's a no. That's typically a lie in your body. So, and for you. So that being said, lightness can lead you into heaviness. I mean, and that's where the Tao is so important, that with light, there will be darkness. In every joy, there's a little suffering. And in every suffering, there's a little joy.
Can you say more about that?
Yeah.
Is it an example?
Yeah. So if you go through a breakup, of course, it shatters what you were hoping for in your world and what you were building towards. But the joy and the heartache is the relief that's to come in time. It's on its way. Conversely, when you fall in love, there's always that terror of, oh no, this could leave. So you could be completely elated with that background noise of like, oh, I got to hold on to this. I got to hold on to this. I got to hold on to this. So in every joy a pain, and every pain a joy. And that is also the gift that comes forward that sets people free of like, you can choose whatever you want and delight in it. If you want to be miserable right now and you just want to be stuck in your suffering and that feels like that's where you need to be, by all means, like carve out that space.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if that's how you have fun, that's fine.
Well, and then there's the law of proportion, which is the degree to which you can sit and be with pain is the degree which you can feel pleasure and joy. And so if you have a very small tolerance for pain, if you reach for a substance out of discomfort, or you have some habit. I know for me right now, I'm kind of habituated to social media as a distraction, and so that actually does diminish my joy quotient. I'm noticing things that up it are like when I go out into nature, move my body, dance, do yoga, interact, have conversation, have like cat naps. Those are always really fun for me. Air bubble. So to set yourself free simply is the process of allowing. And when people come to me, they're not an allowance. There's a judgment in place. There's a point of view in place. There's a pattern in place that has just run. And Debbie Ford's book, The Dark Side of the Light Chasers, she notes a friend from Landmark who says, that which you cannot be with will not let you be. So that which you cannot be with, that which you reject, create separations, deviations from, which you push away into the shadowlands, won't let you be. It'll run your life. It'll run your life. I've noticed this about myself, that when I set a goal for myself, like I'll watch something on dairy and I'm just like, oh my God, the dairy industry is horrible. I'm just going to stop eating dairy. I literally then go buy everything dairy. It's like I've got this like switchfoot mechanism.
In NLP, it's called a polarity responder.
Say something about that.
Well, I mean, I saw this demonstrated. It was fascinating. But, basically, Rebekah, do not drink or eat dairy. And you will fidget, you will drive yourself absolutely crazy, and there's nothing in the world that will stop you from going to the store and getting dairy.
Yeah.
And I've seen it. I saw it demonstrated with somebody in a chair. It's like, I don't remember the woman's name, but it's just like, do not move to that chair. And the stronger that is, I mean, it's an authority thing, I think.
Yeah.
It's like, and this woman said, I'm really sorry, but I have to move to that chair.
Right.
And she just did.
So,
and it wasn't a joke.
Right.
It was a physiological thing, right?
So NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. And it's how our brains...
well, it was created by Grindler and Bandler. One was a computer programmer, one was a linguist. So programming, the programmer understood programming logic and algorithm, and the other one understood language patterns. So I have a tendency to speak in what are called hypnotic language patterns. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Okay, so they studied Milton Erickson for the hypnotic, and then they studied a phenomenal family therapist named Virginia Satir.
Oh, sure. She's wonderful.
Yeah, and so they developed the Milton and the meta model. And basically in therapy, I mean, this is very general, but it's like, if somebody's like really spaced out, you use the meta model to chunk down, down, to get people grounded. Somebody that's really balled up, tight, anxiety, you use the Milton model to sort of, so can you imagine a time in your life where everything was peaceful and joyful and relaxed and you had no worry or care? Sort of like that.
Yeah, so NLP is really powerful, and that's interesting to say that, what do you call me, something responder?
Polarity responder.
Polarity responder.
You're going to do the opposite of what you're told.
Right.
And you're told could be your own mind.
Yeah.
Or it is.
And it definitely is. And I would say it's a really distinct survival mechanism of being, there's lots of different inputs that came into my body, being the oldest child, having to be a built-in babysitter, just bucking authority to be able to say, like, you can buy into the rejections that people send you. And I constantly, whatever I was told, I was just like, no. So it's funny when I do it to myself, because I'm just like, obviously this would probably be a better choice. But my body's like, you're eating mac and cheese all week. Deal with it. Deal with it. There are some sad cows right now because you can't make that choice. So that's something else I want to say is the reason I illustrate that is because in the room where I was doing the readings, everyone came in with their own judgment against themselves. Right?
Great awareness.
Yeah. So it's sort of like, I've never played the game, but Cards Against Humanity. It's almost like self against humanity or humanity against self or whatever.
That's what
yeah. So
it's not a game. It's what people do.
Yeah. We just beat the crap out of ourselves. And so the beauty of clairvoyance is being able to see exactly where that judgment, the implant is stuck, and going into it and having awareness shine a light on it. I'm not going to get the quote exactly right, but Jung, he basically said, the way to transform shadow is to bring it into the light, is to bring it in, to take it and bring it forward, to make it conscious. So that's what clairvoyancy does. It says like, oh, you have a pattern of not taking responsibility, which was one of the members in the group.
I remember.
Or you have a pattern where the soul of your life has been about mothering. Now, what if you allow yourself to be mothered? And here's what blew me away. Is in every single one of these people, they knew it already. They knew it already. It wasn't like this mass revelation. It was this acknowledgement of their own knowing.
Yeah, nobody said, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one's like, what are you know?
So what I observed in those people is their eyes got big and then relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Aha.
Aha. Yeah.
That's what we already know. That's what aha means.
That the relief that comes, and then, but behind it, and this is where the work is so powerful with me specifically, is like you have that aha, but then it's like, aha, oh no, now what? Now what? That's why my slogan is discover what's next, because we're in the discovery process always of like. Mm-hmm.
But doesn't that also mean discover what's next, like right now, not tomorrow, not in the future, but just like discover what's next right now?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Okay.
And so I want to move to that event at EVE was beautiful and just and intimate and something that I hope to offer people to be able, if they want to have like that in their homes or host different events like that. That's something that I'd love to do.
I know you're wanting to move on, but I want to ask you a question because
sure.
at EVE, before you got started, we were talking. I hooked up this mic and recorder and stuff, and there was a part you said you were just like there's part of you really nervous.
Oh yeah.
So how'd you deal with that?
Okay, so what happened is that I came in and I already felt the sense of responsibility for this group. You could call it a maternal instinct or just a knowing that there was real, what you would call serious issues.
And you felt it.
And I felt it. And I did. I felt like I didn't quite know exactly how to create the container that would produce results. And I hold myself to that standard consistently, is if clients are going to invest their time and their money into working with me, then results are paramount. They're at the very top. And so I had this own nervousness in my psyche of, is this going to work? Blah, 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 blah. I had my own judgments against myself. And when I was able to surrender to spirit, they just took over. And exactly what happened is what needed to happen.
So in summary, you took responsibility. Mm-hmm. Spirit came in, and you were able to let go and just be whatever it is you do.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that was big. And so it was brilliant that I had that event at EVE, and then 2 days later on Thursday night, I had...
I couldn't go.
Yeah, I had a Singing Bowls event with my friend Ellen, and she is also a fellow Naropa graduate. We met here in Encinitas. And the event was simply sound and spirit.
Nice.
And, yeah. So she had these giant crystal bowls.
I'm really sorry I missed that one.
And Young Living essential oils. And we paired the oils with intentions. And it was a room full of about 13 women. And
no men?
No guys showed up. It was,
really?
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Yeah. It felt like that was a container that needed to be set. And Ellen started by toning the room and clearing things off of people. She's also very intuitive. And so the opening ceremony, if you will, of the night was to tone people, then to do introductions and pair an oil with their intention. So in Young Living, there's oils like abundance, clarity, white angelica, which is for protection, simple oils like lemon that help brighten your mood. There's a plethora of these very high grade, high vibration oils. And so
they're high vibration, but every one has a unique vibration. Is that right?
Yeah. Just like the singing bowls do. So she set the room, and then after we did that, we did a little intermission, and then I dropped in to doing readings. And I will say it was on September 1st, which happened to be a solar eclipse, a new moon in Virgo, and just powerful, like the beginning of the fall month, right? The month as summer slides into fall, kids go back to school. So what collectively showed up in the room was this density around feeling stuck or going through traumatic loss. Is the collective, as intentions were being set, you could hear that is what was showing up in the room. This like longing for like a release. So, I wasn't nervous at all this time, at all. Because I knew Spirit was going to handle it. And I did the same thing. I had people come sit by me. Now, what I know to be true is some people's readings were more potent than others, because part of the practice is to meet people where they're at. So some people were in a bit more neutral space, and therefore their reading wasn't as in depth. So they could have walked away being like, meh. But other people, it was evident that, because the readings lasted maybe 5 minutes each, 3 to 5 minutes each. It was just a very small amount. There were some people that I was like, oh, this is evident that there's more in-depth work that's needed here. So when I say that, it's like clairvoyancy will pinpoint the area that needs the relief, the release, the clarity. But my mastery as a psychologist is what helps with the how-to of the stepping forward. And then my overall humor as a life coach really, I think, shifts the paradigm for people. It's like they are able to then look through a lens of more possibility than they've ever felt in their life. And that ultimately is the work of why I set people free. And when I say I mean I that is the container that transmutes the message and spirit.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing I experienced Tuesday night. You sort of just, where'd Rebekah go?
Yeah. Because I know that my personality in the world is, I have obviously that strong, overbearing humor and crassness, and I will say last night that that foul language was an important part of releasing people, like the whole room harmonically together, because this one lady was being released from the darkness, and I said, to activate your voice, what other better word than fuck? And so the whole room harmonically was like, fuck! and you felt this shift. You felt there's a little bit of levity that was able to click in. So, and plus most of our swear words are actually acronyms anyways.
Yeah, I know that. Don't want to be a Darren Downer, but I have a question for you.
Sure.
Given it was the 1st, September 1st, what do you think about a collective consciousness in terms of September and a memory of 9/11? Because it certainly came up in my awareness. Oh, we're coming up on 9/11, and there was some tension when I experienced that. You got any thoughts on that?
We will forever be able to look back in history and say, that was a pivot point for the United States. Well, we have had things like the Oklahoma City bombing and certainly, like a sordid history with, racism, and we're still dealing with that. 9/11 was a time, I think, both of terror, but also of feeling the heartbeat of the nation, because for the first time in my history, I saw people opening their homes and banding together, and and of course singers doing their relief fund work, and so it's almost like what I remember of 9/11 is witnessing a wound healing that had been, the tension had been built for quite some time. You could probably trace it back to the Nixon era. And I just want to say I'm nowhere close to a historian, but certainly that day was predicated on several days, several
30
hundred
to 50
days.
years.
Yeah, before it.
Yeah, it's been building.
Well, it's been building for a long time.
So it's just, my question partially was in terms of consciousness now. Not so much of a, talking about that, but it does,
So to distill it down, what I would say is like everybody is going to experience that energy differently, and there is a choice whether you want to feel the pulse and the heartbeat of America, or if you want to
knock, come in.
Yeah, as evidenced by the pulse of what's going on in the ceiling. So essentially, September tends to be a heavy month because it's ruled by Virgo, and Virgo is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is a planet of tradition and structure and heaviness. So we do feel the levity of Leo, the Lion King in August switch into the seriousness of the Virgin Virgo. And,
I understand we're in Mercury retrograde right now too. When's that end?
So I'm really not sure the timetable on it. Again, astrology is a novice hobby of mine, but I would say that Mercury again is about communication, but ultimately this is about the shadows, the veils that are there. And so what happened in the room collectively at the Spirit and Sound and at our event too was this judgment we hold against ourselves that makes us feel tight and uptight and not somehow we don't fit, or there's not a belonging. And that's basically the shadows writhing in the darkness so that we feel them, but we're not quite ready to let their message come into our awareness fully.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever happened with 9/11, I would say we still haven't let that message come into our awareness fully.
Right. Yeah, I'm feeling that too.
And that again is the relief and the work of liberation, of being set free, of Rebekah Freedom, of this vehicle that has been gifted me to shine a light in those dark places and provide that clarity, that relief. And oftentimes, even in my own life, there's times I just want to surrender and say, like, please, somebody else just do this for me. Just like, and that's the coaching piece, right? Those moments where I'll get texts from my clients at 9:00 at night where they've had just some event happen where their girlfriend just didn't communicate right, or there was a miscommunication of some sort that sparked anxiety. And I'm right there in that moment to be like, this is how you switch that. This is how you access your own awareness and perception to shift it into something else. So you can create differently than you would have before. Like change the paradigm, switch the pattern.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I'm so glad that you got to see it in action.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
And
yep, me too.
Yeah, and and to celebrate with like fritters.
I know.
To celebrate this whole path with fritters. So I want to say if you're in that stuck place, or that place of going through a divorce and you just are heartbroken, you're unsure, you're struggling with your body image, you have a lot of judgments against your body, or wherever you're at in your path of creation, and you're just in that uncomfortable place where all you can do is sort of repeat old patterns to the point that you feel crazy. If you're ready to be set free, if you're ready for the next step, I invite you to reach out to me at RebekahFreedom.com. That's REBEKAH freedom.com. So if you're ready, right? Is that where we're starting?
That's fine. You can just start wherever you want.
Yeah.
Would you like an apple fritter?
Yeah.
And a glass of milk?
Start wherever. Yeah. So again, that for me sent me back to being 10. And there's something really sweet about, really literally sweet and also emotionally sweet about being able to revisit your innocence in the smallest of moments. And sometimes food is a time machine for that. Of course, in moderation. I'm not going to eat fritters every day. My body.
No, and we're not going to do it every Friday either.
No, it was in celebration of just the week of spirit, just moving strongly and powerfully through. So if you're ready for that movement, I would say, if you're ready for that, that incredible clearing in your life, then again, reach out to me at RebekahFreedom.com, REBEKAH, freedom.com. And I'd like to say that if you like this episode of Heard Not Seen, please share it with your friends and your family on your social media, on your Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Tag hashtag Rebekah Freedom in it as well. So when I click, I can see who around the world is listening. And thank you for listening. Also, in closing, in the Encinitas area, I'm aware that October is just around the corner. So if people would like to have personal readings and group readings hosted in their home, also reach out to me. I look forward to it. So be sovereign. Thank you for listening and take care.